I think I got it. We're doing a presentation. All right. Remember to silence your cell phones. If your cell phone's even working today. Oh, I gotta talk to the microphone. Do I really have to?
They were asking.
Okay. All right. I can do that.
You guys hear okay?
Can y'all hear me okay? I'm not used to talking on a microphone. I feel like a movie star or something. Okay, so Stephanie, you're
I am the vegetarian of the day.
all right, here.
Never mind.
Everybody, Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day, for the opportunity to gather in fellowship. Lord, we just bless this community. We pray that you would put your hands over it, not just our community, but the state, the nation, and the world, Lord. We thank you for this day, for the food that we have in front of us, Lord, in the hands of the prepared. Lord, we thank you. Play all these things in their name. And pull away test of the things we think, say, or do first, second, third, and fourth.
All right. Yeah, it's funny because like yesterday morning at X and nobody wanted to use that microphone. Who was there? You were there.
I was there.
You were there. I didn't know what they had against the microphone, but now I do. I'm just teasing. Okay, so let me get let's see. All right. Cart buckets. Don't remember the cart buckets on the table. We need to check and see how we're doing on our goal towards cart. So Dawn and I will do that. Do we have any prayer requests? No, I did talk to Halsey. Halsey's doing good. You know, he had his knee replacement and he said he's feeling pretty good. So I guess he was gonna try to make it today, but I guess he wasn't quite able to make it today. Probably needs to let it rest a few more days. Let's see. Community announcements. We're gonna have an egg hunt, the 82nd Airborne Division Band and Chorus. Y'all can view all these announcements on our program on the table. And then let's see, club business. So we have several things to attend to for club business. We got a couple of thank you letters here. This one makes me proud because it's from a student, you know, so that's great that students write thank you letters. Dear members of the Milledgeville Rotary Club, thank you for sponsoring the Baldwin County Star Student Program. It was so meaningful to be recognized along with the other students. I appreciate not only your support of the Star Student Program, but also all the work you do to make Milledgeville a better community. Thank you, William Steinfeld. Does that sound right? GMC Prep. And then we have another one here from the Chamber. Rotary Club members, thank you for the club's continued support in recognizing Baldwin County's highest achieving high school seniors and the teachers who have most impacted their academic success. The STAR program luncheon at the club at Lake Sinclair. Let's see. In their honor was enjoyed by all. Kara and Jennifer. Okay. Let's see. You asked for a minute.
1 minute. Next week, we're going to be doing the speech contest. So I just want to give you a little heads up as to what we can expect. So far, we've had 2 schools respond. We may have as many as 4, but regardless, you're going to be the ones that actually do the scoring. And the lowest score is the person that's going to win. I've got a rubric score sheet for you to look at. You don't really need to fill it all out. All you have to do is be aware of the categories that we believe our Rotary sets as our parameters for scoring. And then once you look at that, each table will rank their contestants from 1 and 2 and 2 or 1 to 4, whatever it happens to be. And then have somebody independently take those scores, add them all together, and the lowest score wins. That's it. Then on March 30th, whoever our winner plus the Northern Zone region winners are, will compete in Baldwin High School for the Northern Zone. And we've already got our panel. We use the same panel we had last year. They were outstanding. And they will determine that winner. That person will then speak at the Rotary Conference in spring, and they don't have, there's no more competition. We won $1,000 scholarship. So I want to give you a heads up. So we're not passing out papers and pencils next week. You're not blindsided. Don't know, well, what's this all about? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Everybody hear that okay? I just realized, it's funny, this thing kind of threw me off. I forgot the guests in the raffle. That's why you're here. I'm like, what's Eric over here? Okay, so let's do the guests in raffle. Are you doing that today?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see, we've got, can you guys hear me?
It's not working?
If you hold it, your voice projects better. So well, I can project.
Yeah, let's project.
I'll go ahead and project for the moment. All right, so we have three guests. Sorry, two guests. Yeah, so we have Jennifer. Would you like to introduce your guest?
This is my friend and potential new Rotarian, Sarah Melito. She's joining us from Canada via Pennsylvania and now lives in Milledgeville.
Awesome.
We have Nick Montgomery, who's a potential member as well. I'm not sure. Are you guessing someone or are you just Christy? Yeah, Christy. Okay. Just, yeah. Okay. So you want to stand up and just quickly. All right. Okay. I do have a ticket sitting on the back table. So, Ms. Field, would you be willing to pull a ticket out? Okay. Looking like the number is 5135. Yeah, we're looking for, what are we looking for again? You know, whatever over here. Is it? Okay. And Queen Hearts. The alternate version.
Thank you, William.
Okay, so William.
You get $10.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Eric. Okay, so now we're gonna get back to club business. So Bill, you wanted to talk a couple of minutes?
I was prepared 10 minutes ago.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Consider star. So anyway, Lynn asked me to come up and talk probably about 5 minutes. But first of all, is Wendell here?
No.
Well, darn. Well, Mark, you need to tell him when you see him next that I'm here doing a little run with Georgia College and State University. And you can pass that along to your wife as well. Anyway, Lynn asked me to come up and tell a little bit about the foundation and the grant and what we do with the grant monies. Herschel talked about the foundation, I guess last week or week before last. I wasn't here last week. And anyway, we have a Jill Brooks program. When we give money to the foundation, for instance, if you give $100 to the foundation, 3 years later, 3 years, whatever club years later, 50% of that money is passed along to the district. The district then keeps 50%, half of that money, and the other half is passed along to us to use in different projects, and that's that grant money that's used to fund. Several years ago, we're here and go. Anyway, we decided to do Jill's Books, which is in honor of Randy's daughter. It's a Jill's Books program that we have, and it's been ongoing, and we use that grant money for that. We also have done other grants too for different scholarships, depending on the amount of money that you give. So the more money that you give, for instance, if we gave $10,000 to the foundation this year, then 3 years from now, we will end up getting $2,500 in grant money that we can use for Jill's Books and any other type of projects that we may do. Jill's Books is a program that we participate with the local library downtown. It benefits people of all ages. The books range from learning to read all the way up to adult literacy, but it's typically, most of it is used probably by K through 12 for the most part. And there are other books, but we do that. And that's where, you know, when you give to the foundation, that's a portion that comes back locally. And it goes to a good project for literacy here locally in Baldwin County and anybody else that goes and uses the library. So the whole thing is give. The more you give, the more we get back to use here within the local community. So anybody got any questions? So give, open up your pocketbook.
Bill, what's the best way? Is it online or is it directly to John?
You can give a check to Keith Barlow,
KEITA.
or Keith Barlow can send you the link where you can do it online. Or you could actually just go to the Rotary International website and I will put on there.
If you go online and do it, just make sure that you're logged in. I'll tell you the easiest thing for everybody else, maybe not so much for me. The easiest thing to guarantee that money is gonna be in your account, give me a check that's to the Rotary Foundation. I'll take care of everything else. I'll fill out the forms, I'll do everything. But if you do it online, make sure you're logged on to your account, because sometimes they'll create a new account and you'll have money over here and that kind of stuff. So but the easiest thing for you, write a check, Rotary Foundation, give it to me, I'll take care of everything else.
Do you take credit card?
Yours, yes.
Yeah, you can use credit card on there. Yeah. And I do want to say, like I said, the more you give, we have, since I was involved in it, I think the most that we have gotten available for district grant was from the district was about $3,600. And we were able to do 2 scholarships in addition to the Jill's Books program. And so, like I said, the more that we give, the more other different things that we can do along the way. But anyway, anybody else got any questions?
There's different categories within the foundation that you can give to.
Yes. Yeah, but it doesn't, I think if you designate directly to Polio Plus,
We don't get that.
that does not go to the district. What contributed to the general fund.
The annual fund share.
I think it's
Fund
called share,
Yeah,
yeah.
share funds.
Annual fund share, you give it back, and that 3 years from then, that money comes back.
So,
But there is a world fund too, that Rotary uses strictly for them worldwide.
anyway,
Yeah.
open your pocketbooks.
The one caveat to getting the money back is someone from our club has to attend district assembly in May. It'll be May 11th this year, I believe. And they have a grants training, so we do have to participate in that grants training, which hasn't been a problem in the last few years. I remember the first time I was asked to go to district assembly, I said, take one for a team and go get our grant money. And, it was the best thing I ever did, because that's where I really started falling in love with Rotary. So, we had a good showing last year, 5 or 6 people, 7, 8, I don't know. A lot of us went last year, and it's a lot of fun. It really does kind of inspire you. Huh?
Where?
It's in Dublin. Yeah, May 11th in Dublin. It's a 1-day training, and it is a lot of fun. Okay, one more piece of club business today. I'm gonna ask Tom to come up here. He sent us a request yesterday for bike walk bowling, and the board did approve it, but I think he can do a better job of explaining it than I can. So, you want to tell us what it's all about?
So about 2 years ago, I had a conversation with Henry Craig, one of our county commissioners. We had been in a meeting with Georgia Forestry and DNR. We're having a lot of trouble with Bartram Forest. And I know, Michael, you go out there a lot, and you still have challenges. And just, it was kind of a sidebar conversation where Henry said, was there anywhere else we could build trail? Yeah, as a matter of fact, Walter B. Williams has got a lot of area, and that would be kind of nice. And the ball started rolling. Here we are 2 years later. We've got an agreement in place with them. Georgia Cycling, which is the group Kenny Griffin's come and talked to Rotary a few times. They're the ones that bring the middle school and high school mountain bike race to our community every September. Traditionally, it's been at Bartram. This year, we've made a bet, and we're going to host, we're announcing today, that race is going to be held at the new trail at Walter B. Williams, which don't exist yet. Kenny's helping me. We're working on some grant money. We've got a lot of in-kind labor. But Monday around lunchtime, he pinged me and said, hey, look, we need to raise about $30,000 to cover the bridges. I mean, that's the one real big hard expense that we've got that I can't do in kind with it. And he said, I've talked to one of my board members, and they ponied up $15,000 in matching. So if you can raise 15, then they'll match 15, but the deadline's Thursday. I've never tried that in our community, but I'm happy to say, sent out a few emails, made a couple of calls, and this community came together like never before. So with this, and Citizens Bank was one of our big sponsors, Visit Milledgeville was a big sponsor, but we raised $15,000 in 3 days and got the match. So we've got the money for the bridges. We'll be starting construction on this probably in the next 2 weeks, and get rolling. We'll have 9 miles of brand new hiking, biking, running trails that go, if you're familiar with Walter B. Williams, where the tennis courts and the 2 ponds are, and between that area and the soccer complex is where about 7.5 miles of it. And then the other 2 miles is around the soccer complex and over to the old cemetery that's just down below that. So anyway, new resource.
Yeah, so
Happy to have Rotary be a part of.
So he sent the request yesterday asking for 2,500. It was the last 2,500 he needed
I
to.
thought you were, but I miscalculated.
Hey, you use that anytime.
Yeah, but I got on the phone with Frederick. We talked, we sent it out to the board, and I think it was unanimously approved by everyone on the board. So we would like to present you with this check for $2,500. And more importantly, the check that we actually have.
That works.
All right.
Thank y'all so much.
Now, one more thing. Let's do Happy Dollars. We're doing Happy Dollars for Foundation today. Wendell is not here, so we're going to let Jamie try his hand at Happy Dollars.
I think I have the hardest job, which is filling Wendell's shoes. Nobody does Happy Dollar with more enthusiasm and frankly happiness than him. So we'll start off with Tom.
I'm going to start off $10 for this one.
Thank you. Who's next? Who's happy? Rock. Pam's happy.
I've got $20
Tennis to congratulate Tom on his work in tennis because I had my first class of Rotary Learning Institute the other Saturday.
I'll give money. I don't have any cash.
I'll bet for Erin.
But-
She helps me out with the newsletter. So
Look at that.
But, today is my son's 21st birthday.
Oh,
Yeah. Savannah to celebrate.
You don't look that old.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. That's
Harry?
more money back there. And I saw that team on the thing back there.
I'm super proud of all my grandkids, but today, my oldest grandson's in New York City at the Nike Armory Center and track meet. That is a very, very important D1 competition. So he's running at 400, at 4 o'clock, they're running 800. And so he's playing with the big dogs today.
All right. Tell us about it. What are you happy about?
Oh, I'm happy about life. All my kids, my healthy grandkids, I just happy to be a part of this family here too.
Hey, we keep going. I'm thinking if you're a window, I may go money again. Let's keep it going.
So I finally won on a raffle ticket. I tried the day one of the raffle. I got me a gun.
Awesome. Need about $100 more. Uh-oh.
They just celebrated my grandmother's 92nd birthday and her sister turns 90 today. So that's great.
All right, 2 minutes. Come on. 1 or 2 more. 3 more. Come on. Anybody? Oh, I'll take mine.
Jamie, I got you over here.
Oh, yes.
I got $25 on my ear and I don't know me.
Shake off.
Yeah, shake. Hey, just like everybody else, I'm happy about what the club is doing. It's engaging. I'm gonna take the opportunity to get a report out. Can I see you at the meeting door? Get this, contract.
Oh,
Those deals all count as beautiful. We're gonna be, partnering with them to adopt a road. We'll be doing that sometime in April. And then we have third grade book distribution, next month, where we'll be giving books out to all the third graders here in Baldwin. Bob, thank you for all the support. I could get with Dr. Price and the dates for GMT and some of the, Baldwin County schools, but we'll be doing that next month. So, great work, everyone.
My name's Beach Ball, 94 years old, at our art exhibit at our closed yesterday. Beautiful paintings over, probably going back 50 plus years. So she's quite a lady. So
Yeah, she painted those, that was just first collection. That was awesome. Very cool.
I will.
We'll take every dollar.
8 months. I'm sorry, I just. 8 months after my daughter lost an accident, she's finally been here.
Yay.
Returned to normal life.
Congratulations. Oh, we got one more?
Happy the sun has been shining.
Check out, all right.
$20. Just happy to be back at Rotary today.
That's awesome.
For those who don't know, we started building a pool and a little mother-in-law suite last summer. We're finally at a point where I actually think we can turn on the heat for the spot. It turns out nobody wants to swim in 40-degree water. I'm really excited about that. And like other people, I'm glad that it's sunny and so happy.
Yeah. Jamie, wrap us up.
Anybody? All right, I'll put the last 5 in. I just finished my, 2 years as board chair for the Chamber of Commerce. So I just finished that up. So, there's unique moment. I really enjoyed it working with Kara and the chamber, but a little bit relieved. Anyway, all right.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. Happy Dollars is for the foundation today. So, we'll count it up and get it to you. So do you want to introduce our guest or? All right.
Good afternoon. Our recent Star Student and Blaze project programs have showcased local school students' scholarship efforts and achievements as they approach their college paths. Today, we'll hear updates on international undergraduate students seeking host families opportunities among Georgia Rotarians. Here to present updates on Georgia Rotary Student Program, please welcome GRSP Director, Catherine Fields.
I appreciate the opportunity. Do you have an online? Do you have an online community also?
We do, yeah.
Okay. Hello, those of you who are online. I don't want to discount you because I appreciate you taking the minute when you could be doing a whole lot of other things. And this is such a great little club. I told Darren I'm going to start by apologizing. I was here last March and I said something about district conference, but I went to 6910 district conference, not 6920. So I will let you know that I cannot be the first person who's put you in the wrong district because of how close to the line you run. But I will tell you that District Governor Felix has let me know that I will be at your district conference this year. So I will see you there. He's also signed me up for the 5K run, which I'll be walking. So I did want some of you, we talked a little bit about GRSP, but I wanted to come back with an update because we've done a little bit of research, a little bit of connecting since then with hopes of kind of bringing you back into the fold and also just giving you an update of where we are and also just to present a well what today. So there's a picture of some of our students. The beauty of this program is the number of countries that we bring into the fold in our 78 years. Is that changing? Just kidding.
No.
What am I supposed to do? I know you have to be a certain, oh, you know what, down there. Let me get it there. Right, but I was, but it wasn't doing it.
Oh, really?
So you want to try?
It's working now. You got it.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why that slides in parts. It's like me, thoughts, just little thoughts. I went to make sure that many of you know who Paul Harris is, and I see on the back of your program, and kudos to you for actually printing a program that shows people's names. There are 2 people on the back of that program that we have not communicated with you that are Will Watt members. So if they are in the room, I am recognizing Bradford Oliver and Fred Van Horn, if they're still club members. Okay. Honorary. Okay, well, they still are donors to GRSP, so I don't want them to be slighted. So if that's the case, thank you for that. Will Watt was our founder in 1946. A little before that, he attended Rotary International's convention, in which case he had heard some things about war-torn Europe, and he really thought, what can I do in Thomasville, Georgia that makes a difference? And from there, he decided to work with international college students. It was originally called the Georgia Rotary Student Plan and later became program when Rotary Club of Atlanta had put some seed money in with it. But from there, they would provide 1-year ambassadorial scholarships. And I say this because some people think that we are more needs-based, and that does throw some people off. We are ambassadorial. We are trying to get people who will be our future leaders. And for that reason, we take our international college students. The study has shown that if they will spend time, many students come to the United States as international students and go into a triangle. They go from their dorm to the dining hall, to the classroom or the library and back, and have very little interaction in English homes, American homes. For that, Georgia Rotary Student Program felt like one of our international components we could bring would be peace through understanding. And I will tell you, when something happens in Georgia, I will get an influx of emails or text or calls to our information. If there's tragic weather, if there's just something happening, and go Dogs when Georgia won the national championship. Students who have been former UGA reps will, students at UGA will send us something saying, I saw where Georgia won. I mean, just like such pride and ownership that they have. So I'm thankful that these 78 years have brought us a strong group of alumni. And the great part that I feel like that Rotary brings to the table with this, making it a little bit different, it's not an exchange student program. There is an opportunity later for us to send someone to Norway, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is where the students come in, and for 1 year, the focus is on building a network. So they will stay up here. That shows you the weekends that we have. Conclave this year will be hosted in Columbus, and it rotates districts. So in 2025, District 6910 will host it. But from September to May, including district conference, they are all over the map, getting to see places that I've later learned. There's Mr. Eubanks right there. They're going to Pelham next weekend. You know where that is, don't you? And they will, I love when the students go to Pelham. That's what they call it. They go to Pelham because the one girl said, such a slow pace. But I love that they were able to recognize it. And they take them to antebellum homes, we'll now call them estates. They take them, we used to take them to the prison. They loved it, but we can't take them there anymore. They really did love it. Something about that. But we also like to get them to see the school system. And within their discussions with the school system, some of the students will come back to them and say, I've never been to some of the places where those students are currently going to school across the state. Like, it's just a reminder that not everybody in our own state is a tourist. For those of you who attended district conference last year, Nana up there was on the platform, and she let everybody know that when she went home, she's going to figure out how to get a Chick-fil-A where she lives. So that was important. This year's class is probably the most balanced we've had in a long time. 42 students, 22 females and 20 males. Out of that, we are represented in 24 colleges across the state, which keeps me hopping. 93 Rotary clubs participating. We will count this group right here in next year's alumni. They're not alumni until the end of the year. But as of right now, we are represented in 109 countries, and this class will add additional countries of Gabon, Curacao, and Serbia. Serbia, for some of you who may know, was a partnership we did with a Rotary Collaborative grant. And so in that connection, we were able to make the connection to say, who do you know in higher education who can get us through to some of these other channels? And from there, we had a Zoom call with some students from Serbia, and the Rotary Club of Savannah did the partnership with them, and then we're able to get a GRSP student. So I love when I see the overlap. There's another student from Guatemala that they did a dental lab. Their home club, when she was here, was expressing the need for a dental lab. So their Rotary Club partnered together out of Columbus and then went to Guatemala. So that's the beauty of how our program overlaps. There are 2 ways to participate in Georgia Rotary Student Program. And for 74 years, we had the standard student selection, which we still do. That is when a Rotary Club overseas an international Rotary Club will endorse a student. And they are selected in a catalog of students, just like you would pick from Amazon. You would put that student in your buggy. Then if there's a draw for that student, things happen just like the real draft does. We have another program that is the direct college selection. I was talking to Tamara a little bit about that. Your club last sponsored a student in 2014, and not long after that is when Georgia College was designated as our state's liberal arts school, and tuition increases made it a little harder to sponsor a student. In partnership conversations that we have worked with the University of Georgia Fanning Institute, we are able to offer partial scholarships now, because that allows clubs still the opportunity to participate, but they're not bringing a student in from overseas. They're working directly with the college and taking an international student and basically highlighting them for 1 year as part of our program. And so with that, we've learned that if you're already planning to come to Georgia College and State University, you kind of have your finances in order. But if I come along and say, hey, I've got a $7,000, $8,000 scholarship for you, it just makes people a little bit more interested to come along and play where we are. And it is a 1 year non-renewable, but the students have definitely said that got them and experienced that most of them, they could not have been in the United States for more than 1 year. So if they came last year or were at another school and transferred into Georgia College, they would just qualify. They have to be under 18 to 24, not have studied in the States for more than 1 year. And that allows the partnership that we now have going on, where the partnering schools on this list, some offer full scholarships through Rotary clubs, others, the tuition is maybe a little bit higher. At LaGrange, if you haven't checked, any LaGrange, anybody sending their kid to the LaGrange, it's not free. It is, and I have Berry College up there as a Berry College graduate. It's not free either. But at the end of the day, some of those tuition rates were exceptionally high, but the schools were already attracting a large international group of students. And I have spoken with Kathy Cox through some emails and stuff. And I was telling Mark, he's certainly very familiar with the program. They were in line to be a host family. And then she made the transition here. So that's still exciting. But for many years, Kathy has seen the program in action and said, I will put some Georgia College dollars with it. I will sweeten that deal with a presidential supplement or something like that. So I was talking to Tamara to say, in the past years, your club has partnered with Dublin and Sandersville or Jones County. And so maybe at Pets in the next week or so, we come to the table and say, what does it look like to come up with $4,000? GRSP will match up to $7,000. So if we can get some cash on the table, we match up to $7,000. And then that's a much better scholarship. Even if it's $3,000 and we match $3,000, that's $6,000 that can go towards a student. And so all of that just to say, once the students come into the program, they get the same perks and benefits and the leadership and the mentoring, and they get to travel around the state and stay in different Rotarians' homes and also get the benefit of meeting one another. And so it really is just beautiful when it comes together. I want to be transparent. We are an external arm of Rotary. We are considered approved by Rotary, I should say that, but we do not receive any funding from the Rotary Foundation. So in 2019, we separated our foundation for legal purposes from our operations, and we take the interest off the corpus. And for many of you in here who are financial planners, you know that depending on the market, some years are lean and some years are a little better. And so I am able to take that and set our budget, and our budget is about $1 million. And from that budget, most of it tells you our operations revenue comes 46% comes from the interest that we get off of our corpus. Club payments at 49%. And what that means is within District 6920, the district does send us $7 per member. That is about 4.8% of ours. Club payments are when a club pledges to sponsor a student for scholarship. So that money comes in and helps us offset that. And then for those of you who are adding behind me, miscellaneous receipts are 1.1 because all that numbers didn't add up. Some of you know to be a Paul Harris Fellow, it's $1,000 or with points, and the Rotary Foundation we operate similar to the Rotary Foundation, although we operate a little differently in that you have to have at least $500 in cash before you can be a Will Watt Fellow. So if by chance you had donated to GRSP, and we do have donations on the website, or you can give them to your treasurer and have them earmarked for GRSP. I cannot get them once they go to Rotary Foundation, but if they come to just GRSP, we can attribute that. So if for some reason you had donated $250 to date, and I do have a list of current members, and you want it to be a Will Watt Fellow, you'd be $750 off. So from that, we allow 500 points per level. So at that point, you'd be out $375, and that would be how the balance goes. And so if for some reason, I know that I talk fast, I'll slow down and explain that to you. This is a current list of our donor levels. I jokingly tell people sometimes it's just not as easy as it should be. We do not have like Paul Harris 1, 2, 3, 4. We took some of our founding fathers, which is Will Watt, Hugh Thomas, Kendall Wissinger, Jake Cheatham, he's from my hometown, Griffin, Georgia, Ronnie Waller, Jim Brim, Hart Joyner, and Frank Bentley Sr. This year, we awarded our first Frank Bentley Sr. donor to a member of the Rotary Club of Thomasville, which was pretty awesome since that's our home club. But within that, this whole list, if you walk away with nothing, Ronnie Waller wants me to let you know he's alive. That's all you need to know. I want to tell you about this because it's probably one of my favorite things to let you know is how are there ways that you can support GRSP? Because there are many of you sitting in the seat going, well, what does that mean? You can sponsor a student for that full or partial scholarship. You can attend conclave. Many people just do not even know what that means. That's when our students showcase their talent in an exceptional array. I love the students that I say, like the ones up here from Columbia and a beautiful native dance. Well, that's fabulous. Well, the one poor little guy from England didn't know what to do. He was like, I don't have a talent. I was like, well, you get 3 to 5 minutes to stand. So he proceeded to talk about the differences in the English language and the English language. And so, yes, that's exactly what you need to do. You can serve as a host family or a weekend host family. Probably a strange thing you may not even think about is transportation to district conference. The students many times, well, 99.9 times, come without transportation. So UGA is not that far away. If you were not sponsoring a student currently, you might say, hey, I'm going to district conference. Who can I throw in the car? Because on the way down there, it's great conversation. On the way back, you get to see their eyelids. But I'm just being honest. And I know that there's opportunities. Stay connected with alumni. I gave Tamara the list that has the students that your club has sponsored from the beginning. Some of you may be sitting in this room and have been a host family or have that opportunity. I love when you're talking about being a grandmother. I love when grandmother came up to me and said, my little grandchild has the picture of Sophie on their dresser, because that brought the encyclopedia alive to her. That student came in their home. Also to be a Will Watt Fellow, which we're about to recognize Mr. Lynn, and to serve on our board. We have opportunities for the foundation. These are all volunteer capacities, trustees, foundation board, and advisory roles. This is the one thing that we send the other direction. Oslo International Summer School. There's a scholarship from a 70-year partnership that Will Watt had with Norway. He was later knighted by Norway. And so the Norwegian Rotarians said, for many years, you've given our students a scholarship. What can we do? So in the summer, if you know a college-age student, we just have awarded this group, and representing District 6920 is Joshua Yeomans from Hoboken. Who knows where that is? No, not that one. In Georgia. Who knows where that one is? That is on the right side of Waycross, and I had to look. He is such a brilliant student from Georgia Southern. Go Eagles. And the Rotary Club of Downtown Statesboro was his endorsement. So you pretty much have to have a connection to a Rotary Club and an endorsement from someone in the club. It doesn't have to be the president. Just somebody in the club has to endorse that you would be a great ambassador. And he is very excited, along with these other two, to go this summer. Probably one of our latest success stories, for those of you who are dog graduates in the room, Dr. Anna Westerdahl Stemport is the Dean of the Franklin College of Arts and Sciences, the largest school within UGA. She attended GRSP in 1993 from Sweden, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Canton and Peachtree Corners. Her host dad is still alive, and he's 92 years old and remembers her. So he is in a nursing facility, but they still were able to communicate through his son-in-law, and I love that. And this is probably one of the more tender things I'm going to say today. When she came on campus, she quickly reached out to me and said, I want to meet this year's students. And I'm like, you might want to get adjusted. You are the largest dean of the college. And she was like, no, I'm going to have them for dinner. And that was that picture. She made good on her word by October. And I was like, so stunned. So I have nothing but great things to say about her. She's the tiny little one, or actually in the middle by the W, but definitely made sure that our students and our leadership knew that she credited Rotary's experience through GRSP for that success. And I did say I do talk fast, but you can follow us on social media. You can call me. I have dashboard time all the time. I'm always on the road doing somewhere, but I'm more than happy to explain some things to you. And I will open the floor for questions. And when I am in doing that, if Mr. Chandler can make his way up here. Mr. Linwood Chandler is named for the contributions of $1,000 in donations to Georgia Rotary Student Program Foundation, honoring founder Will Watt Sr. for past district governor of Rotary Club of Thomasville. Let me hand you this. I thank you. The last time I was here, I love that he said, I want to be a Will Watt member. So if any of you who, will take a picture for him. Thank you. And I appreciate your dedication to education, just not even just Baldwin County. So I thank you that you have invested in our students. And is there anything that anybody might have a question? Yes.
I just have one question. We looked into, Aaron and I was looking into the RSP. And one of the ways we saw that we could sponsor a student, an international student, was partnering with another club.
Mhm.
And then, based on the dollars that are contributed by each club, would determine who was I believe, the host.
So some clubs do this, and Mark might be able to speak to this better than I am. I've learned to kind of let the organic work of the clubs come together. Some clubs, like the Lake Chateau groups, they take it as 3 clubs partner, and on the rotation, that club is the host for that year. That's how they do it. But mosey on down to Camden County, where it's Camden County, Brunswick, and I'm missing somebody. St. Simons. They like to have a lead club, but 2 other GRSP contacts, kind of like the fun aunts and uncles. They're not always the host family, but they will come in with some extra buffers, or if that person, the player to be named later, if that person can't make the transport or whatever, then they will come through. One thing that I'm going to very quickly go back to, this is probably something that I'm just a put your cards on the table person. So if you've been out for a while, I want you to know these weekends, we have a bus that goes 4 times a year. So the bus will go to Savannah, which means you'd have to get your student probably from here to Macon. That's not as far a cry. And it's also cheaper if you're getting on a Macon because you're not on the bus as long. But so it's Macon, it's 3. Macon, Pelham, and St. Mary's, we have a bus just because that's a little bit longer. But the other times you would need to make sure that you communicated with somebody. Well, we have 3 or 4 students at UGA. We have students. So sometimes it's like we have students at Perry, at Wesleyan. We'll have a student at Mercer next year. They alternate between Wesleyan and Mercer. So it's a matter of just communicating. My job is to make sure you have that communication with the other club. And I don't expect you to do it alone. The only other, so bus transportation is about $600 a year to factor in. And then the cost of district conference. I don't make that a secret. So
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. My question. Just the second thing I wanted to ask you, did I hear you say that you can sponsor a DRSP student without doing the host, being the host?
So you can come in if you wanted to partner with a club. We ask that there's no more than 3 clubs. There are some that have been grandfathered. The reason we ask no more than 3 clubs is that puts the student has got an obligation to show up at service projects. The student has the obligation to participate in making presentations. That more than 3 clubs makes the student a ragdoll. So the quality of the program has said, we've kind of been like, okay, if you're grandfathered in, you're grandfathered in. I can't do that about that. But since I've been in the program and really just tried to say what works and doesn't, really no more than 3 clubs. But your club in the past has partnered with clubs such as Wrightsville, Tennille, Sandersville, Dublin, and Jones County. So I can put you on that email I was going to put with Tamara and say, hey, let's look at, I have the list of the president-elects, and let's get us all in the room, whether it's virtual, in an email, or at PET, something to say, hey, this is something that we'd like to see happen. And I'm thankful that Kathy Coxarney has a heart for our program and to bring Georgia College back. I will tell you this year, it's taken me 2 years. I've got Georgia Tech back on the docket. Their tuition is not free. And the other side to that, how the Jacket fans, my husband included, the other side of that is some of our students who are coming in internationally weren't always able to meet the test scores to come in. So the partnership with that is we're working with Georgia Tech for an already accepted student. So she sent out an email to about 2,000 students for Henry County, and that works. So if you have any questions, I'll stay later. I want to honor your time and thank you for the opportunity.
You heard all about our Jill's Books program.
Yes,
So this
well,
is what a
sweet.
Jill's Books, and we're gonna gift you this rotary pen, and if you would
Ah.
just please sign there.
Thank you. I traveled well for this. Today's the 21st. Is that right?
22nd.
22nd. Just kidding.
I will say while she's signing that at district conference last year, I had so much fun talking with the kids from the different countries and finding out what goes on in their countries and their schools. And that was probably one of my favorite things of conference last year.
Yay. And they'll be back.
All
Thank
right,
you,
thank
Ann.
you
I
very
appreciate
much.
that.
All right, and we are adjourned.
I appreciate it, and I will get your program.
Get it all lined up.
Yeah. Well, I know the problem now where I know yeah, thank you. Hello. Oh, I was there. Well, did you say your husband? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm getting this back, just to say, if you can make sure, I just feel last year we were getting last year we were in the process of trying to our to separate. But I don't want to try to get. Aaron, did you say that? But I started
I have had.
Okay, the first name.
The single go. I like it. I had several of those.
Okay. Well, that is what. So I didn't have a chance to talk about it. I have a couple of grandbabies. Like it's going to be a grandbaby for you. The mom has come through, the dad has come through, now the students. So that's been, one of the yeah, Wessel. Actually, he's in Savannah. So, Joe Ritchie, who is a Savannah South. Yeah. Okay, Joe sponsored his mama. He's the third one on the end, the white shirts and the brown shorts. He's at Buckhead this year. So, yeah, I love this. But no, Aaron, please send me some stuff just because we're having a huge, club, but I like to cut, I'd like to put them out for us.
Yeah, we're not.
Just to leave that position. You were looking at me kind of funny. I was like, oh, we already filled it. Okay, good.
I thought you were like talking about like me.
No, not necessarily, but you're saying that. I was like, "Thanks, ladies." But no, really for Frederick's position.
Yeah.
Trying to find someone.
She brought it to you, so.
What's the best?
Oh, it's fine. I leave you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure I gave it to the right person.
They did.